Good evening, everybody. I'll bring this regular meeting council to order for June the 3rd, 2025. If I may, our thoughts and prayers go out to our friends and family north in the Flin Flon, Creighton and Denair, Lynn Lake, Wanless, Snow Lake, and across Manitoba, including our courageous firefighters on the ground, in the air, and for their safety and in these regions. Some of the families from the north are here in Swan River and Swan River Valley. We welcome them. Many of our residents and organizations and business have shown their compassion and their hospitality, and I thank them, and we share their hospitality and compassion. We will pray for rain and the end of these life-changing wildfires that has put many risks for the lives and homes and towns in our province. Be it resolved that the agenda for the June 3rd, 2025 regular meeting of council be adopted. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Councillor Powell. Discussion, Councillor Bobick.
Could I add some legal issues to the in-camera section?
A legal item?
Yeah.
Okay. So to amend the agenda, do we have a seconder to add a legal item to camera? Councillor Powell. So to amend the agenda to add a legal item, all in favor? It's carried. So then we will have the adoption, be it resolved that the agenda, the amended agenda for June 3rd, 2025 regular meeting of council be adopted. That was I guess we have a new mover. Moved by Councillor Whyte, second by Councillor Bobick. All in favor? It's carried. Am I going too fast? Mr. Harvey? You're good? Okay. Be it resolved, the minutes of the May 20th, 2025 regular council meeting be approved. Moved by Councillor Powell, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Any discussion, any errors, anything that needs to be omitted? All in favor? It's carried. Moving down to 6, communications 6.1. Be it resolved, the email from Maxine Zamzow, Senior Election Official, Town of Swan River, dated May the 20th, 2025, giving her resignation be received. Moved by Councillor Powell, second by Councillor Bobick. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. Can we maybe put together a letter thanking Ms. Zamzow for her time of serving as our election officer?
Sure.
6.2, be it resolved that Manitoba Municipal and Northern Relations Bulletin number 2025-12 regarding homeowners affordability, tax credit exclusion, and the notice of Manitoba Homeowners 2025 homeowners affordability tax credit HATC be received. Moved by Councillor Powell, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 6.3, be it resolved that the email dated May the 29th, 2025 from Nick Krowitz, Director of Policy and Communications, Association of Manitoba Municipalities, regarding the RCMP third round of collective bargaining be received. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Any discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
This is just I guess an update that to the rest of the council to just keep you guys in the loop as to how the latest round of contract negotiations between the Government of Canada and Contract Services and the RCMP Police Union are going, so the Manitoba representatives to the negotiating group and that are very well engaged, so this is just to keep you guys a little informed as to what's going on. Basically, nothing's happened at this point since it's a new federal government. Things were put on pause. Now that they're back in session and appointments have been made, negotiations can resume. So,
Further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 6.4. Be it resolved that the offer to purchase dated May the 29th, 2025 from Yurii Chuzhmarov regarding 117 Crescent Drive be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Councillor Powell. Discussion? Go ahead.
this is not to decide. This is just
No,
to
this is just to
receive
receive it.
to receive the offer.
Yeah. Further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 6.5, be it resolved that the email dated June the 2nd, 2025 from RCP Staff Sergeant Henson regarding body-worn cameras be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion? Councillor Bobick?
So we really have no choice in this at all.
No. Yeah, this is just a Canada-wide thing that the RCMP is moving towards, that we learned that from D Division. Maybe you weren't there last year, but this is something that's moving ahead. They feel that it's going to save time and perhaps other issues that the RCP deal with every day. Further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 7.1. Be it resolved the Director of Public Works report be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, second by Councillor Bobick. Discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux?
Mr. Harvey, can you just give us a little bit, I know you have some Coles notes here regarding the meeting you had with MTI regarding Ditch Road. Can you just elaborate on that if you can, please?
Yeah, so this one has been discussed and kind of pushed from the RM side for quite a while. And there was an old drainage through a field that is no longer a drainage, it's just a field. And highways kept saying, well, the water's gotta get routed through there. And so, I guess probably almost a couple of years ago now, the RM asked, well, can we get a study to say that the existing drainage can handle it? So MTI finally agreed to that. So this was a meeting discussing the results of that report. And essentially, under their design flows for their upgrade, the velocities will be in the same range that they are currently, and it should handle the design flow, or it will handle the design flow through 2nd Ave Northwest. So we don't have to upgrade 2nd Ave Northwest because it's not MTI property, and their own people have found that it should handle it, so they should be able to proceed with it now. So then we asked, okay, what do we need to get this moving forward? So they said, well, a resolution from both councils. So you'll see further down, we have a resolution asking them to begin detailed design on it. They did say it could be 5 years before it's done, unfortunately still, because there's land acquisition and the project needs to get approved on their 5-year capital plan, but at least it's a little further along than it was before. There's no excuses, for lack of a better term, that they can use to kind of hold off on the project.
Go ahead.
And so how does that affect our plans that we had to change the pipes on River Road, like at the curve there, where that intersection?
We'll let them kind of do their detailed design, and then we can look at switching those out, but it's not a hang up for the project. So I would say let them do their detailed design. get that going.
Because we had that on the plans to change those pipes out, so I guess what you're saying is we'll wait until their plans is, and then we will take our cue as to what we need to do from that.
Yeah, and we can schedule it according to our own schedule.
Perfect, thank you. I'm good.
Further discussion? Councillor Bobick?
I'm just wondering where we are with the cemetery, with the renewal of the water and sewer there, where we are.
For the cemetery?
Or, Centennial, pardon.
Oh, I'm just waiting for the results of the tender to come in from AE.
And that closes when?
It closed, so they should be sending them. They said they would be here this afternoon, but they didn't get here, so we'll probably need to know the results.
Okay, so projected time of,
It would be done this fall. Once I get the results, then I'll present to the council and see if they want to proceed with that.
okay. Thank you.
Further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 7.2, be it resolved, the Director of Recreation's report be received. Moved by Councillor Bobick, second by Councillor Whyte. Discussion? Go ahead.
It's for the sake of myself for sure, I'm sure others, there's a new addition of some park equipment in Triangle Park. Where is that?
That's River Road, kind of beside Legion Park almost, by where Dr. Singh used to live, in that corner. River Park Road,
River Park Drive.
River Park Drive,
Were we letting the public know about that?
yes.
Okay. Good.
Any other discussion?
That's what I asked.
All in favor?
It's the wrong place.
It's carried. 7.3, be it resolved that the Chief Administrative Officer's report be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
I guess with our impending by-election, and I see here we haven't received any proposals yet from anybody stepping up to be our new senior election officer. I know in the past our CEO, with the assistance of the assistant CEO or admin, had looked after our by-elections. Is there any thought of administration looking at that to keep
We've
this
had a
on the go?
discussion about that this afternoon with the CAO, so that's something that we're gonna look at and consider since we do have an RFP out right now.
Okay,
Yeah, that's something that's gonna be as an option.
perfect.
Any further discussion? Go ahead.
I'm not sure which part it was. I read from relative that you sent a letter off to the senior crown, and in fact, they're coming up here in June sometime to meet with council about our concerns of not having a crown attorney here. Have you or we considered, he's going to say it's not going to come, a follow-up to where we go from here if the crown says you guys need one, we can't afford, whatever their reason would be. I only think it appropriate that we send a letter to D Division and or Minister of Justice, saying, hey, we've had our meeting, we love it, doesn't, but how do we get a crown attorney? What do we have to do to address locally the significant crime problem we have? Managing that out of office is not acceptable to me personally.
What's the question?
The question is, where do we go from here? We've got the crown coming, and the minister said, I'm sending the crown to talk to you. They'll talk to us.
The minister did not say that he's sending the crown here.
Who said that?
We've asked the crown to come to see us. We made the request to see if the minister can tell the crown to come and see us, but we did request the
I guess that's
crown.
really-
We had some, I can't remember if it was Mr. Fortin, but the RCMP that said that they had some relation there that he could, kind of encourage that, but we have made the request. So we'll wait to hear from the crown to get the crown.
So when we sent the letter requesting the crown attorney, one be placed here, who did that letter go to?
Oh, you're talking about, I thought you were talking about, because we've made a request to have the crown visit us. You're talking about having a crown placed in Swan River. Yes, that went to the minister. But
Thank you.
the crown that comes to visit us is not going to make a decision if he or she can have a crown attorney
I
in
accept
Swan
that,
River.
but
That's where I thought you were going at.
I believe we, because of our request to the Minister of Justice to have a Crown here, I remember trying to reading those letters back, we've asked the Crown to come and talk to you. I think the impetus would have come from the Minister's office to make sure that happened. Now that's happened, and I'm going to guess he's going to say nothing's going to change the Crown. Where do we go from here? Because I don't think we want to drop this one. We need a Crown attorney.
If that's the decision of council,
Yeah.
to lobby the minister to place a crown or in a position in Swan River, then that's the route that we go.
We should wait until we hear what the Crown has to say.
Well, the crown, I don't think is gonna sit here and say we should have a crown attorney in Swan River.
It is what it is.
You know, they're gonna be careful about that. We're gonna have a conversation that's separate from that, I would assume. But if council chooses that, if we have a chance to meet with the Justice Minister in the fall time, and we want to bring that to be one of the priorities in our discussion, then we can bring it up again. But at the end of the day, it's the decision of the Department of Justice if they feel that that's something that we should have as well.
For sure.
Any further discussion?
For Mr. Tewnion, I'm not sure it's in this article, but I did read where you'd asked for some questions from PMH relative to needle numbers. Is that in this report? Or the further one?
I withdrew, it's mentioned in this report, yes. What happened was I'd asked too specific of an answer. Our good mayor pointed out to me that I asked a little too much, perhaps stumped them, so I went back with a more simpler answer. They're just tied up right now with evacuee priorities. She promised to get back to me as soon as they calm down.
I think the bottom line that our discussion is that you'll be trying to make that happen. Thank you.
Correct.
Good question. Any other discussion? All in favor? It's carried. Okay. Okay, I'm just got mixed up here. So 741. Be it resolved that the February 5th, 2025 minutes report be received. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 742, be it resolved, the report dated May the 29th, 2025 from Erin, Clouson, Recreation Director, Town of Swan River regarding arena scheduling be received. Moved by Councillor Whyte, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion? Councillor Bobick.
So with that, is there anything we can do at the arena to help the evacuees out or in the time frame for their children or anything?
That's not,
Not anything? Okay, sorry.
that's not relevant to this year document or the resolution.
Okay.
Councillor Whyte.
Initially, I was a little concerned about waiving the rental fee, but as I read further in the report, Director, it became self-explanatory why that request came through, and then I can support it. So thank you.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. 743, be it resolved, the report dated May the 29th, 2025 from CAO Tewnion regarding the travel policy be received. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Powell. Discussion? Councillor Whyte.
I need a,
Sorry.
I'm sure there's an easy definition. In point one, you talked about was a clarification of how a meal allowance works, including time slots when eligible, and that is a flat rate. Now, I'm not sure what that means.
This is for council to receive my report to explain. The actual policy will be further on to be resolved. It's explained in the policy. If you review the policy, it actually says meal times. There's no, for example, if somebody arrives home at 5:30, should they get a supper meal or is it after 6 o'clock? That's defined in the policy, so it eliminates some of the gray areas.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is to receive the document. Yeah.
I'll wait to the next one where we're actually debating it.
Okay.
So,
Any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 744, be it resolved, the information report dated June the 2nd, 2025 from the Chief Administrative Officer regarding the offer to purchase 117 Crescent Drive be received. Moved by Councillor Bobick, second by Councillor Whyte. Discussion? All in favor? It's carried. Reports, council reports. Councillor Powell.
Okay, we had a library meeting in the last little while, and everything was moving forward there at the library. We've also, they've also made sure that to offer up their computers and Wi-Fi, free copying and faxing for anybody who needs to come in there. They've had a couple busy months and just things getting ready for their summer programming and stuff like that. They got lots of things planned for the summer, so you see their posts on Facebook, please share them, because that's kind of how they advertise right now for anything going on, and I think it's been a really good thing with our head librarian there. So yeah, other than that, that's about it for council.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
I had the meeting with other representatives of the provincial PIMJAC committee. In the meeting, I guess basically just the highlights, because a lot of it's embargoed, but we reviewed the pros and cons and where we should be going with the provincial bylaw defense summary notices for some of our bylaws that we across the province versus each municipality having specific municipal bylaws to be enforced under the municipal bylaw offense notifications, which would, if you went through the provincial bylaw summaries process, it would be a identical bylaw across the province with identical fees and fines that are implemented through the provincial system, which takes the ambiguity out of different things for each municipality, but also for more of the complex ones. Instead of each municipality investing thousands of dollars in developing a bylaw and then going through legal review and whatnot, just like what we did with our unsightly property or type bylaw, there would be a provincial one that would do that, and then you can just tag onto it and enforce and I guess administer fines based on that. So with a collection system through the court system. We also had a quick briefing on the RCMP contracts, basically what we had received there from Mr. Kratz from the AMM, that things are going to start proceeding, but there's been multiple presentations by AMM to the contract negotiating committee that through this negotiations, they need to be more aware of the municipality's ability to pay for RCMP costs and not just Ottawa's ability to pay for costs, because the impact on municipalities is much more significant than it is on Ottawa's bank account. We also looked over another draft of the police funding model, which will be potentially shared with our council at a later date, as we have some decisions to make regarding our policing service contract as to what model or what one we would suggest or recommend going forward. So, and also a new representative for Justice regarding the policing contract services, a new replacement there. His name is Andrew Miner. He's been touring some of the municipalities down south, getting to know the municipalities and the players with the municipal police saving contract there. So he's going to be touring different areas of provinces, and he'll be on our list to have a meeting with us, or at least the CEO, but with council as a whole, to hear our concerns and our views and things like that. And that would probably be a good place for him to share some of the new police funding models being presented for us to consider and see what option 1, option 2, and option 1A, option 2A, and whatnot to be discussed, so that you can hear from the horse's mouth, basically what's being presented and looked at versus a condensed view. So, that's all I had in this 2-week period.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Whyte.
Busy as usual. On the 21st, we had our Arbor Day activity. I want to thank Mr. Harvey and his staff for digging some 57 holes for the trees that were planted. And the high school, Carrie Beatty came over and helped, and I think it's a wonderful start. Conservation District helped, Louisiana Pacific helped, Spruce Products helped, and obviously the Arbor Day Committee, the Urban Forest Committee, so that's a pretty positive thing. So right after that, I zipped over and joined the AIS, Aquatic Invasive Species Symposium, for another couple hours, and the bottom line is they were going to provide things like signs. There's grant money up to $410,000 sitting out there right now for regional or specific issues. They want to look at prevention, promotion, protection, and monitoring. So it said we don't have any problems here, but a lot of people go north fishing. If there's no fish in the north, I guarantee you we'll have problems. It'll be an economic fight for us. So the AIS thing is much more significant than any of us believe, I'm sure. Then in the evening, the mayor, thank you again, Mayor Jacobson and myself took Dr. Lavalley and his family out for 2 or 3 hours. We did a tour of the golf course, and I want to thank Clint Weir for providing a couple of golf carts. I can think maybe Mr. RCMP there. I think the mayor needs some driving lessons for those golf carts. He suggested it was me, but we'll see. Dr. Lavalley is interested in our area. He likes hunting and fishing, so we're optimistic as we always are. So that was pretty nice. And then we did the golfers. Then we took him up to the ski hill, and he had a tour up there, which was also obviously a pretty special place to see. So all in all, that was a busy day. On the 26th, I attended the Immigrant Services AGM, and it turns out they showed some data there for us. There are 53 different countries represented that they're dealing with through the Immigrant Service entity in our community. That's, I don't know, is there 100 registered states? So it's pretty special. As you know, I have a special spot for that. Then on May the 28th, myself and Brian Hunter, fed by Jean Basker, some food, had some lovely food, some vegetarian food. She's a Presbyterian, pescatarian.
Pescatarian.
Thank you. And so we took them for a tour of Spruce Products. I want to thank Ward Perchik and Gary Wojcik. That's a remarkable place if you get a chance to go there. The technology, they could put 25% less wood into that mill and get the same volume out. So keeping the volume as it is, they're getting 25% more through the computers and the blades. They're so thin next to the dust coming out. All that dust, by the way, they use in heating the buildings. So it's a pretty special place. Then on the 30th, I went to the LPN, DPN graduations of these diploma and public nurses. There were 7 excellent young women that graduated. I brought a message on behalf of the mayor and council, because they were in Ottawa working for us, I think it's fair to say. And I encouraged them to stay in Swan River, in the Swan River Valley. And it was a pretty special thing for me to do that. So that's enough. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I do have to say that I enjoyed the tour that we did for Dr. Lavalley and his family, and you failed to mention, that's fine, you did a good report, but taking him to Magnetic Hill and for them to experience what the Magnetic Hill was all about. But it was a good evening, and hopefully we made some impression to his family and himself to remain or make a commitment to Swan Valley sometime hopefully in the fall. Councillor Bob.
Thank you. Just to speak a little bit about the car dock out at the airport again, I tried to get in touch with them today, the contractor that was unsuccessful. Thoughts are that we'll be pushing forward with this, and then we need to call an airport commission meeting. Some of my thoughts are personally that this has been dragging on, correctly, 3 years.
Probably getting close.
Yeah. So I guess my question would be, and I'll bring that forward to the airport commission, is if it takes 3 years to put the car docks in and we have trouble, how do we get anything fixed? we're gonna have to hold this contractor's feet to the fire and get something done. It's way too long. He has a bit, but the town's going to lose money, so we'll be moving forward with that. Just to update your watershed's gonna be planting 9 apple trees at the schoolyard Thursday. That will be for the culinary arts to pick apples and cook at the school. So just to let you know that, just to let you know that those trees that were planted by Arbor Day came from watershed. I do not believe there was a cost involved with those. Also on June 17th, we'll be having our water festival, which will be held at the Interpretive Center on the Loma Lake Road. We're expecting 130 students to come up there this year, so that'll be nice to do and see again. Ottawa. I'll probably let Mayor Jacobs do more of the political side of the thing. It's surprising when talking with people there, they have the same issues. Arenas, homelessness, addictions, it all seems to be all over the place. Lots of good contacts made. I think the question is, was it worth it? I really think it was worth for us to go there. One of the main reasons it's worth it is because of our mayor. He has lots of networking, he has lots of people. I don't know if there's anybody in Canada he doesn't know, because we stop and talk to everybody. But hats off to Mayor Jacobson, because a lot got accomplished. So with that, as in, by being on AMM board, because he's made a lot of contacts over the years, and Swan River was well known there. So, thank you.
Well, thank you, Councillor.
That's it.
Thank you, and I appreciate those words, and, being on the AMN board has opened my eyes and doors, for not necessarily for myself, but also for our municipality and the friendships and the connections for things we can see to hopefully lobby and do better for our valley. The FC, actually, I'm not going to start there, sorry. So on May the 22nd, we had our first RISE meeting for a little while. We had a few of our board members that did attend. We did talk about the lack, I guess, of some activity in the previous years. So the board did agree that we would not have a audit that would be done. And of course, that comes at a huge cost. So I think that's something that during our G4 meeting, that if councils feel differently, then we'll have to have that discussion, in particular with the audit with RISE. We did talk about the tourism and the information booklet for business in the valley. We're still working on that. It is taking some time, but we're getting there. We're actually talking about maybe hiring some students to assist us in getting some of those final pieces done to this booklet. So it's we want to make sure that we're doing a good job and the right job, but that requires time, especially when you're dealing with people that are working in different places and they can only dedicate so much time for this project. So anyway, I feel like we're going to get that done. We talked about a few other things that, for the budget for 2025 and some of the things that we want to focus on. There's going to be some more items with the opportunity guide. We were looking at some student for tourism in the valley, or for Swan River and the whole entire valley. We're looking at social media as far as coordination, all that, again, on the tourism side of things, and also some promotional material. Something at FCM, we've seen that, we promotional material, and people, if they're tourists coming to your community and you don't have, a theme, or you don't have, something, they're looking for that stuff, and they'll take it and use it for birthday presents and Christmas presents or whatever. So we have to kind of get into that. So we're still kind of just peeling that apart a little bit, and we'll get onto that here hopefully in the next little bit. So RISE is still working on some projects that we feel are important, but you know, some of the big questions are, obviously, is gonna be the big economic development questions, and if we need an EDO and all that kind of stuff, so that will obviously mean a bigger piece of investment from the municipality, so those are some of the things I think that we'll be talking about at our upcoming G4. So with Ottawa, yeah, so I'll try not to be too long-winded with this one, but anyway, I think in my mind, I feel that it was a good investment for Councillor Bobick and I to go. We did get an opportunity to see and meet a lot of great people and turn over some stones that maybe we never would have an opportunity to do so if we were not there. I have to thank MP Mazur and his staff for taking us and touring us around and showing us where all the decisions are made in this country and in Parliament, and having the opportunity to walk inside the chamber. And quite honestly, I thought it would look a lot smaller than what it actually looks like on TV. But what an amazing building, and obviously we know that it's in the West Block right now because Center Block is under a major renovation. So nonetheless, it's a great place to go and visit if you ever have the opportunity to go and walk the halls of Parliament and some of the other buildings within Ottawa. We talked about, or got an opportunity to listen to some of the decision making, and we talked about, you know, equity in decision making and all that. So that's we can get into that some other time, but I'm just gonna kind of go through a few of the things that I was able to witness or with Councillor Bob. The future of infrastructure delivery, and this is obviously, you know, the pressures of, you know, critical infrastructure that's in all municipalities, but also especially like in rural areas where we're having a hard time, you know, upgrading and maintaining our infrastructure. We talk about the town of Swan River, we talk about our lagoon, and we talk about, you know, fresh water drinking. We've made investments in our water and drinking water systems, but our infrastructure for our lagoon is a little ways away, and that day is going to come. But the problem is that we don't have the money to do that, and we need the support of the provincial and federal governments. And how is that going to, you know, come forward? A lot of discussion on policing and the perspectives on bail reform, and how bail practices right now have had a huge impact on the police and their services, and there has been a national call on bail reform, and how that balances the need for public safety and fair and accessible bail. So I'm sure that we'll hear a lot more of that in the next bit, especially with this new government. Of course, I talked about the federal role in municipal funding, and they're working on a new process of shaping federal infrastructure agenda and unleashing rural economies through infrastructure today. So that's a big piece of it, and I think that we will work really hard with some of our representatives on FCM from the province of Manitoba. Great evening with the AMN put on called the Manitoba Night, and we had a great time of networking with a lot of people from within the province and other guests that were brought in from Ottawa. And again, it's just that networking thing that you open up different doors and opportunities for discussion. We had an opportunity to listen to MP Melissa Landsman, and she did an outstanding job of making a presentation before the delegates. I want to say that they're talking still a lot of stuff on public safety, and that seems to be some key pieces of the whole discussion. AI, again, we talked about AI here at our table and around AMM, and what kind of an impact is that going to have on, you know, our country, municipal governments, and even operating our public works someday. And when they talk about there's going to be a robot in each home by another 15 years or something like that. So some big impacts to municipalities. And again, we had an election of board of directors from Manitoba. These three people sit on the board and represent Manitoba. And there was 4 candidates this time in this election, and we actually had some really good speeches from each of them, and really spoke from the heart. And I thought they were running for municipal council. Like, they did such a great job, and they really spoke from their heart, and made me think that we really have some good people that are representing Manitoba and Manitoba municipalities at the FCM level. So I do want to congratulate Councillor Joe Massey, Councillor Marvin Plett, and Councillor Laurent Toutreau, who we represent. And you should all, don't be afraid to reach out to them. They're great people, and they always want to hear. So if there's something on the federal level that we want to reach out to them and lobby through FCM, those people are the ones that we can talk to. And of course, lastly, I want to say congratulations to our friend from Thompson, President Kathy Valentino. She will sit as the second vice president of FCM, and all those 4 people that I have just mentioned will be good representatives for the province of Manitoba. So we're in good hands with that. So with that, I am complete with my report. So we'll move on to 8 and 8.1. Be it resolved that the Swan Valley Fire Board audited financial statements for the year ended December 31st, 2024 be received. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Discussion. Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
Yeah, so just as you see in your agenda package there, we had our presentation from Linda Cole, accounting, who did the fire board first inaugural financial audit. So it was a clean audit. It's the first audit of the fire board, so there's still some transactions that still yet to take place pending our GST application review with Canada Revenue, moving us from 50 to 100% reimbursement, along with some equipment transfers of that. So that's why if you're looking through some of the numbers, it looks a little confusing and skewed. It's because there's still some transactions that still got to take place. But it's also completed under the public sector accounting standards, which is different than the cash balance. So when you're looking at a cash flow statement for your with your bank statement, when you compare that to the public sector accounting standards, then it seems to get a lot of wonky and makes it a lot more confusing for there. So, but if anybody at council has any follow-up questions after review that, you can reach out to myself and I'll get them answered there for you, because it took me a while to get my head wrapped around some of these things, because it's the first audit of the fire board with a lot of the setup transactions and moving around and account setup and equipment moving around that makes it look very complicated, basic compared to it. But it was much appreciated by the accounting firm that due to the multiple layers of financial accountability that the board does have, with Chief Fedorchuk doing the initial audit, but then monthly year-end or month-end financial reconciliation by accounting firm MNP that finalizes all the monthly reports. It allowed us to have a seamless, easy financial audit with no recommendations going forward.
Any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.2. Be it resolved that February 5th, 2025 minutes be amended to include the item 8.1, the motion to resolve that the 2025 standing committees and other appointments be approved as per Schedule A, and include the mover as Councillor Whyte and the seconder as Councillor Powell. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Powell. Any discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.3. Be it resolved in recognition of the scheduling error by Recreation Department, the town of Swan waived one night of ice fees in the amount of $1,008 for the Tewnion Cree Nation Spring Classic Hockey Tournament. Moved by Councillor Powell, seconded by Councillor Whyte. Any further discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
I guess I need to say it, while it pains me to forgive or waive one night's hockey fees, there was a learning moment for both parties for that event. So there'll be some things put forward, but to make sure that all parties are happy and willing to move forward and not dwell on the past and some of the challenges of that weekend, I think it's prudent that we support this resolution going forward.
Further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.4. Be it resolved that policy 2, 2025, being a policy of the town to regulate employee travel outside of town limits, be approved. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Powell. Discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
I guess this is where I asked the question. CEO Tewnion, how did you come up with the mileage rates, and then I guess also with the meal rates? Is there, are we following the provincial or federal or just our own?
The meal rates are our own already, they're established on the sheet. The
Okay.
mileage rate, that's a very good question. I know the federal rate is 65, which I think is significantly higher than we need. The idea is to cover the costs. So it was determined as a reasonable amount so that an employee is not out of pocket.
Okay, and then follow up to the mileage rate. How did you come up to determine the rate in 3.2 versus the one in 3.1 where there's a town vehicle available versus the one when there is not?
From my previous career, we referred to it as employee request versus employer request. So the logic being that if the employer can provide a vehicle, but the employee prefers to take their own, then they're willing to take a lower price. If the employee does not have a vehicle for them, then it's fair that the employer, if the employer doesn't have a vehicle, it's fair that the employer incurs those expenses. That's why there's the differentiation.
Councillor Powell.
Okay, so my only question was if traveling, so this would mean if we were traveling separately, anybody who's using this rate would get this rate. Because we wouldn't be traveling, we could travel separately.
Yeah, and why?
Is that what?
Yeah, so if, let's say, as an example, council's going to the AMM, and 3 councillors decide to take the van, and 1 councillor wants to take their own vehicle. Well, if they take their own vehicle, they would get the 25%, the $25 per kilometer rate.
25
Okay,
cents.
but if sorry,
25 cents.
all right, sorry, 25 cents.
I'm
Not
taking my own
dollar,
vehicle.
not dollar, 25 cent. And then if the van wasn't available for a councillor, then they would get the 50 cent.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
Councillor White?
I have a little difficulty understanding when absent in travel status prior to, what does that mean?
Sorry, which
Well,
section?
breakfast, it says is $15. When absent in travel status prior to 7, you can only have breakfast before 7 a.m.?
No, it means if you leave home before 7 a.m., you're entitled to get a flat rate for breakfast because you're probably going to grab something on the road. If you're going to leave after 7 a.m., then it would be your responsibility to feed yourself at home, not the employer's
It's
responsibility.
awful early to get up. Lunch is $20 when absent in travel status between, same principle.
Same principle. If you get back to your workplace prior to 11 a.m., then I don't believe it should be the taxpayers paying for your meal. And same as if you arrive home before 1 o'clock, then you would normally have lunch at your own expense as well. That's the logic there. The reason, Councillor White, the reason why I wanted to put some parameters is because there just needs some more structure because not everything is being treated the same. So the idea is to have some consistency so it's fair across the board.
So if you arrive home before 6 o'clock, eat in your house. it's after 6, you go for dinner.
If it's after 6, you're entitled to your flat rate. If you're home at 10 to 6, then you should be eating dinner at your own dime.
Like
Okay.
that.
And just as a reminder, this is for all of council and employees. Go ahead.
I just want to say I commend you on this and the breakdown and just the more of a thought out plan basically. So it's an explanation that I think has always been kind of something we've kind of always just, so I commend you on that.
Thank you.
Further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. 8.5. Yeah, 8.5. Be it resolved that the town of Swan will receive the results of the MTI study, PR 275, road upgrade review of drainage options. Be it further resolved, the town requests that MTI proceed with detailed design of PR 275 using the current 2nd Avenue Northwest ditch alignment that has sufficient capacity based on the MTI study. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Any further discussion? Councillor Bobick.
I just, speaking with Director Harvey, got to put in that last sentence there just to make sure that the resolution speaks of that. They have stated that that ditch needs capacity in our resolution, it states that.
Fair enough. Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
It's good to see that they have finally came up with the plan or completed the plan, and now that we're actually make a resolution or hopefully pass a resolution here to continue to put the pressure for them to proceed with that project. But that doesn't mean that we're gonna let off the gas pedal to keep pressing that to make this done in a couple of years and not 5 years. So.
No kidding. I remember one of the meetings that we had with the minister back in, I think it was October of 2020, on getting this thing rolling along, so it's been a long haul. Any further discussion? Go ahead, Mr. Harvey.
Yeah, that's a good point. We can have that as a yearly item for whenever we're meeting with the MTI minister, just to say, okay, where's the status, because that's definitely helped with other projects to move along.
Okay, good. Any further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. 8.6. Be it resolved, the town of Swan River sell 117 Crescent Drive, lot 10, plan 146 to Yurii Chuzhmarov for $5,000. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. Discussion? Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
I think this is the same discussion that we had before, is that the town has a significant amount of dollars invested into this property. And this individual has clearly indicated that he has no intention to build a property on that. So in my mind, I can't support this resolution until he comes up with the amount of money that's invested in that property by the town, or makes a commitment to build a significant structure on there that would increase the value of that property through assessment.
Further discussion? Councillor Whyte.
I hope that was an and or, because I don't think we're gonna get $47,000. But if we got the or, we're going to build,
It's an and.
build, yeah, then I'm completely in favor.
Councillor Whyte.
When you say and or, would you be looking at assessed value? Is that what we're speaking on here?
If he's going to build a house, I'm okay with it. I don't think we're gonna get $47,000 for the lot, so
Exactly.
just a commitment to build a house.
So council's getting a debate over ifs, and if council wants to make amendment to the resolution, you could do so. All right, so further discussion on the resolution.
I'm assuming, Mr. Tewnion, you've relayed that message twice probably to this individual, that he said, we want you to buy it, but we want a commitment.
Yes, for clarity, I told him what my advice would be to council. I provided him the exact report that I provided to council, and he insisted on a $2,000 increase in his offer with no commitment to
Okay.
it.
Thank you.
Okay, further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It's defeated. 10.1. Whereas subsections 173(1) of the Municipal Act states a council may, by resolution, borrow money for operating expenses during a fiscal year, but the amount borrowed must not exceed the amount collected in taxes and grants in lieu of taxes in the previous fiscal year. And whereas the town of Swan requires commercial credit cards to replace its existing business credit cards to pay for certain operating expenses throughout the year. And whereas the Royal Bank of Canada is willing to provide an RBC Visa commercial credit card facility with a borrowing limit of $50,000, be it resolved that the Royal Bank of Canada RBC Visa commercial credit card facility be approved with a borrowing limit of $50,000. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Whyte. Discussion. Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
The way I read this, and from, I guess, my understanding is that we're going to be potentially canceling the existing credit cards that we have with each individual max credits and going to more of a pooled system where, or is it a different system?
It's a system that when I got here, what happens is, and I'm not faulting anybody, but there was a practice of giving somebody your credit card to purchase something. That's a huge risk to me. I've lived that world before. It's not good. So my idea is to give those same people their own credit cards, but in order to do that, CFO Gnida had to arrange a commercial account. So the overall limit is that much, not each individual spending.
That's what I mean,
There are
it's not a
still-
combined limit of 50,000, not each individual at 50,000.
Correct. There's still safeguards in place that will allow the oversight that we need.
Okay. Further discussion? Councillor Powell.
So I guess you're saying that every department or every department head would have their own credit card with their own limit amount?
Possibly, so that there's going to be controls over the credit cards, the same controls and same authorities for spending right now. It's just that each individual person, like I can't give my card to Director Harvey to go and make a purchase. But Director Harvey can make a purchase using his own card. So then there's more tracking of who actually made the transactions, just better accountability and less risk involved with financial transactions overall. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm. I guess credit cards are always something that, there is a way to always know exactly what's happening on every credit card. So I take it you probably have that in place, so you.
Correct.
Go ahead.
Just a follow-up question from knowing past practice that we had with the CEO's credit card when it came to a challenge with the spring and fall conventions and booking hotels and stuff. The new limit on the CEO credit card, is that going to be adjusted so that we don't have to do the financial transfers to ensure that there's sufficient funds on the credit card?
We'll make sure those issues are dealt with, yes.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. 10.2. Be it resolved, the following accounts be received. Payroll accounts checks number P5561 to number P5564 and direct deposit payments totaling $115,860.94 is listed on Schedule A. Payroll accounts checks number P5565 to number P5567 and direct deposit payments totaling $120,589.19 is listed on Schedule B. General accounts checks number 32874 to number 32876, totaling $8,624.49 as listed on Schedule C. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Councillor Powell. Discussion? Councillor Bobick.
Number 32879, for associate engineering.
We're not there yet.
So,
This is to receive. Sorry.
How'd you do it?
Process, change in process is hard to get used to. Further discussion? All in favor? Approved. Carried, sorry. Now, 10.3, be it resolved that the following accounts be approved for payment. General accounts checks number 32877 to number 32908 totaling $101,539.62 is listed on Schedule A. Direct deposit payments totaling $1,177.30 as listed on Schedule B. Moved by Deputy Mayor Moriaux, seconded by Councillor Bobick. Discussion. Councillor Bobick.
32879, Associate Engineering, so we got $7,513.07. And the next line below has, every one of them's got a reason, but that one's blank.
No, that's a total of the two.
Is it? Okay. Those go up instead of down? Sorry.
What's the question? Or you got the answer?
Solved.
It's solved, okay. Further discussion? All in favor? It's carried. We'll move right to members' privilege. Councillor Whyte.
I'm not sure, I said I'd probably like to repeat myself. On May the 28th, myself and Brian Hunter, with the help of a lot of other people, took 2 medical students on that tour of Spruce Products. We're trying to talk them, and those were one of the 2 that had been out for our rural week that we had hosted before and wanted to come back here, so that's a compliment. And they'll certainly go back to the medical school to tell them what wonderful. And one of the girls got a master in the rainbow. It's pretty cool, and enough for a nice dinner, barbecue dinner at our cabin. Just a thanks to the Swan Teachers Association meeting the other day. You know, they go out, they do Meals on Wheels, they do caroling to help other people that are shut in. So a shout out to the teachers, the Retired Teachers Association. And I want to thank the co-op. They just did a barbecue last weekend also. The money is going to the grads, and the grads will be graduating within the next 3 weeks. So I wish them well. And Ride for a Reason, 9 to 11 o'clock this Friday morning at the Westwood. A gourmet breakfast, and you get to see all the bike. You can see Councillor Bobick on his really big bike to hold them up. And the same Friday, the Kinsmen are hosting Lobster Fest, and that money, Kinsmen, another active group, helped us so much. And I'm sure it's fair to say if there are evacuees in our community, feel free to contact any council member or Mr. Tewnion, and if there's some way that we can help, we'll certainly work on that. So thank you.
What was the last part? What was the last part you just said?
If there are evacuees in town, if they want to
Oh, yeah.
contact one of the councilors or with Mr. Tewnion, we'll try to help them out.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Councillor Bobick.
We don't have too much to say, Council. I stole my.
Pretty much the whole thing.
But I mean,
Just
just
get
to
it
mention,
earlier,
it's
guys.
8:30 to 10:30 is practically correct.
What time?
8:30 to 10:30.
So you're saying if you're gonna do a public service address, make sure you have it all right.
Exactly.
That's what you told me
But
about?
the bikes take off at 11. Just reminded, you come there, you can buy tickets. There's lots and lots of raffles. The businesses in Town of Swan have stepped up to the plate. And let me say that lots of these businesses have come forward. It's not that we went and asked them. They literally have come forward and donated stuff without even being asked. Okay, so hats off to all the people who have donated to Ride for Reasons. That's it. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Powell, do you have anything to add?
I do. I forgot one thing. I guess the only other thing to add is that tomorrow there will be the emergency service day at the arena. I think that that's where we're going now. That's a great day. Kids love to attend this. They love to see all the emergency services vehicles, and it's really a hands-on. And that also I was actually just trying to find it, and I should have it, but the golf tournament happening for the minor, that is happening, I believe, in 2 weeks from now. Does anybody have that on their list? Okay, you have something?
Well, I wasn't, but yeah,
Yeah.
they're talking about on the 14th, think it is?
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe so. Just a
Friends of
little-
the golf course.
Yes, so that's going to be taking place as well, and that's going to be a huge event for anybody who can attend. I guess the other big thing is just, a huge thank you to Swan River. Like, there's a new page out there, and people are thanking people for doing things. There's so many people that have come together and rallied together to support those that are here, that are fleeing from their homes and their cottages and stuff like that. I think that there's just a lot of people here that have stepped up, and it's really great to see all those things on Facebook that people have it's tough times. And I guess, another huge reminder is be careful where you are. Be careful when you're out in the bush, when you're out finding that's, those are something so small is doing something like that, and just take note. It only takes just a second to have a huge catastrophe. That's it.
Good point. That's a very important point, especially in these dry times. Deputy Mayor Moriaux.
So I guess along with that note, through these tragic and stressful times with all our neighbors to the north evacuating to the south, fleeing the wildfires and the smoke and not knowing what will be there when they return. It's great to see the community pull together. I know the first night when the Flint Falls was evacuating, I went out between 12:30 and 1, and it's almost heartbreaking to see lights from the corner as far as you can see north, one after the other, coming into town. It was very hard to see. Excuse me. But hats off to Co-op, Tim's, and McDonald's for doing what they did that night. Just to let people know, I reached out to PMH to let them know the town was available to offer any assistance that we potentially could if there was an influx to the healthcare system here and what we could do. They have reached out to the municipality to help coordinate a meeting between the town and municipalities, and that to put together a list of services and organizations that are willing to help or are helping in that, so that there's a central repository. So thank you to CEO Tewnion and our EMO coordinator, Mr. Bettisworth, for working on that. So, and then finally, just the Swan Valley Mutual Aid District was contacted by the Office of the Fire Commissioner to see if we had the ability to send personnel and equipment to Flin Flon or other communities in the province up north. And it's great to see that our department stepped up. We sent apparatuses, 2 of them, along with a number of personnel to go drop what they're doing, take time off from their work, take personal vacation, unpaid time to go up north to put themselves in danger, to protect somebody else's livelihood, their homes, and their community. I know we had an emergency years ago where those communities stepped up and offered our help. So it's great to see that our communities in the valley can step up and help others in need. And I know in Manitoba, we all do the same. So my appreciation to the firefighters that went north. I know some of the stories that came back, it's heart-wrenching.
Okay, thank you. Director Harvey.
Swim club has started up, and there is a home meet this year. So July 20th, if you love grandkids swimming, it is pretty exciting watching those kids hit the water and getting it, and they really improve from the start of the year to the end of the year, so it's cool to see. That's all.
Okay, Director Clouson.
Nothing.
Nothing else? Councillor Powell stole your thunder or what?
I'm so sorry.
CFO Gnida.
Actually,
Okay. CEO Tewnion.
Just one thing I found today for council's information, so we were advised by legal counsel today that union negotiations are going to be proceeding now that the union representative confirmed yesterday that he's available and willing to restart the process.
Okay, that's everything. Okay. For me, just Lobster Fest, you know, like if you have a chance to go and check that out, you know, do it. It's a great evening, and it's not very often you can have fresh lobster on the prairie. So, you know, hats off to our Kinsman group. I know that they're a very dedicated team, not only just for Lobster Fest and fundraising, but on a lot of other initiatives that have gone to benefit a lot of things in our valley. And I know that we have other groups that do the same thing year in and year out, including on Councillor Bobick's ride there that's going to be happening on Saturday too. But a lot of volunteers, and we have to be grateful for them. And not only those volunteers think about doing all those things, then they also work, they're thinking about other people, and that kind of leads me to, when we have the people that have been evacuated out of the north, and I kind of said in my opening statement that, our hearts are with them, and we certainly pray for them, and their safety, and having them here in town, but also the people that are fighting on the ground and in the air, and they risk their lives every single day when they go out and fight those fires, because I learned in the conversation while I was in Ottawa how unpredictable these fires can be, and we have no clue how they can turn on you and take property. They also take lives, and we know that happened in the fires down south earlier this year. So our hearts go out to everybody, and certainly hope that we can see some cooler temperatures and some rain, and put these out and stop this, because it's tearing people apart. And I just certainly hope that everybody is safe, and they have something they can do in Swan River, and our volunteers and our businesses and corporations have done an outstanding job. And I know I've been hearing stories, and we actually have a few friends that are here right now from Denair Beach, and also from Swan, and we've had some communications with them, so it's a really difficult thing to hear their stories as well. So anyways, with that, we will conclude members' privilege. Be it resolved that pursuant to sections 152(3) of the Municipal Act, Council go into committee and close the meeting to the public. We have 3 items of legal nature for discussion. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Councillor Whyte. All in favor? It's carried. Out of camera, is there any? 16. Any items arising out of camera? Nothing rising out of camera. Be it resolved, this regular meeting of council will be now adjourned at 8:47 p.m. Moved by Councillor Bobick, seconded by Deputy Mayor Moriaux. All in favor? Carried. We're